Can you use Iso's ultimate to escape a Killjoy Lockdown? That's what I'll be showing you in this video, as well as other interactions like if you can catch Yoru in his ultimate, if there is a height limit on kill contract, and if Deadlock or Iso's ultimate is faster. I found even more things to test in today's video than the last one, so make sure you stick around until the end to learn them all. I missed this one in yesterday's video, but a lot of people wanted to know what would happen if you use Iso's ultimate on a Yoru ultimate. So firstly, we'll see here, if you go roughly the same times, you can actually catch Yoru as he's going into the ultimate, but obviously that is going to heavily depend on the timing. It has to be like perfectly as he's going into the ultimate. You can catch him, and he will also get this weird texture you can see right there. However, obviously if he is completely inside his ultimate and invisible, like you can see there, now if I try and ultimate him, nothing is going to happen. So to catch Yoru while he is in his ultimate, it has to be right at the very start as he's going into it. So Iso's ultimate takes about a second to catch you and then drag you into the arena, but there are some different pieces of utility that you can actually use to escape that, and I wanted to quickly showcase one of those. Now obviously, I think the first example that comes to probably everyone's mind is going to be Jett's dash. The key thing here is though, you have to already have the dash active, because if you wait, see the ultimate then pop dash, by the time it's ready, you can't dash out like that because that takes a second. The ultimate is going to get you, so you have to already have your dash active, ready to go. So now you can see the ultimate comes in, second dash out, and oh wow, even that time it looks like I got out of the ultimate pretty easily, and you can see I still actually get caught in. So it seems like if you're in the center of the ultimate, you're actually much worse off than I realized, but if you are on the edge like I am now, it's going to be a bit more possible. So again, we'll try here. We see the ultimate, the dash away. It is possible with Jett's dash, but it's not easy, especially if you're in the center. And it will actually be possible for Reina to dismiss out of Iso's ultimate as well. You can see right there, if I get my kill, the ultimate starts coming in. I can actually use the dismiss, and then the ultimate just goes past and completely misses me. And then Yoru will be able to get away as well, assuming that he already has his TP active and being sent somewhere. So my TP is over there. I've seen Iso coming in. I can then TP out and just avoid that ultimate like so. So I think a few other agents will also be able to TP out. I want to say Omen definitely can, Chamber definitely can. Neon might be a bit tough, and Raze might be a bit tough, but those are all the agents that come to mind in terms of who can actually escape Iso's ultimate using mobility. Obviously, Iso's undercut ability is quite similar to Omen's Paranoia, just in the way you fire it, it goes through walls, stuff like that, but I wanted to see if you could change the movement speed of it like Omen's Paranoia. So you can see that is how fast it will normally go. If I'm walking backwards, I don't think it goes any slower. And then if I'm going forwards, no. So as far as I can tell, you can't change the movement speed of this ability. It is always just going to go at that same speed. It doesn't matter if you're moving forwards, backwards, anything like that. It just goes. While we're talking about undercut, I also just wanted to point out, I mentioned this in another video talking about Iso, you can actually vulnerable your teammates. So you can see right now, my teammate is now vulnerable. So be really careful when casting this with teammates nearby. You do not want to make them vulnerable, obviously. Can Jett updraft out of Iso's ultimate, and in general, how high does this ultimate actually hit? So first things first, we'll see right here. If I just use my ultimate and then Jett updraft, it's not quite going to be enough. She's still going to get caught in my ultimate, as you would probably expect. But let's say we make it an even bigger distance in height. You can see the Jett is already way above me. Again, I'll get her to updraft, and we will see what happens. So again, I'll use my ultimate. Jett will updraft all the way up there, and you can see she can actually escape it. I'll try again now. Okay, so if she's just there at that height, it will get her. So I will just leave this ultimate now and actually go back there, because clearly there is a height limit. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but if I just come on over to Haven now and give you another example, you can see trying to ult Heaven all the way down from his site. You can see if I try this, so that will reach, and as far as I know, like off the top of my head, that is probably like one of the furthest distances you could get without using a Jett updraft or something like that. And then I don't think being even further away is going to make a difference. Like if I try and do this, you see that is still going to work. So yeah, that's pretty much like the highest example that I can think of. So without using a Jett updraft, I don't think elevation is going to make a difference. But as you saw there on Lotus, if you're a Jett, maybe you can find a way to escape Iso's ultimate, but you'll have to be pretty much in the perfect environment to do so. The next thing I want to go over is how exactly Iso's double tap interacts with Molly's and things like Brimstone's ultimate. I saw a few people that were confused, but essentially, well, first, obviously, I'll just get my shield up like so. Now, if we have a Molly on the ground right here, you can see as soon as I walk into it, it will instantly take away the shield and then start just like melting away at my health as well, because obviously it's going to take the first instance of damage, the shield, so it'll take one single tick of the Molly, and then after that, it goes just straight into eating at your health. Not going to be good against Mollies. Same thing is pretty much going to be true against Brimstone's orbital strike as well. If I get ulted right here by Brim, I'm on the edge. You can see it still just eats away at my health so quickly. It'll take one tiny % of that damage initially, and then after that, you're just going to be taking damage like normal. So yeah, double tap is no good against things like Mollies because it'll basically just delete the shield. And speaking again of this shield, how the Bulldog interacts with it, as you will see, a burst. If you do just a burst with the bulldog, the first bullet will break it, and then the next two will follow up and deal damage like usual. That's one thing a lot of people were asking when they saw how shotgun pellets worked. They wanted to know how burst weapons would work. So you can see right there, the first bullet of the burst breaks the shields, and then the other two damage like usual. Does kill contract clear status effects? Now what I mean by that is things like being detained. So for example, if I detain myself as Gecko, you know, as you do, or if I get detained by Killjoy Lockdown, anything like that, then I get pulled into Iso's ultimate. Do I stay detained, or do I become undetained and get a fair fight? So I'll go right here as Gecko, detain myself. I pay attention to that timer in the bottom left where it says I'm detained. And you can see as soon as I get pulled into the ultimate, that timer saying detained just completely gets removed. So any negative status effects that you have, things like being detained, stunned, flashed, stuff like that seems to just get removed when you get pulled into Iso's ultimate. Okay, so we just saw that kill contract will wipe effects like being detained. You can't be detained inside his ultimate. What about something like Brim's Stim Beacon? So for example, let's say I throw down my Stim Beacon right here. You can see in the bottom right I have my combat Stim, and then I get hit by kill contract. I will keep combat Stim. Okay, you can see it didn't actually take away the effect, but it just simply doesn't last for long enough, and by the time the shields come down, I don't have it anymore. I guess you could maybe use it to like wide swing. I'll try again. So let's see if I'm standing in my Stim Beacon right as it pops. I do actually walk a little bit faster, so you could maybe use it to try to get the jump on the ISO by moving faster than it's expecting, but it's not going to last for very long. There are two things I wanted to test with Killjoy. Firstly is going to be what happens with her turret. As you can see right there, if I have my shields active. So I'll get my shields like so, and the turret, you can see. Okay, so the first shot of the turret burst is going to break the shield, and then the other shots is going to do normal damage. So basically the exact same interaction as a bulldog burst. And then the other thing I wanted to test is what happens if you try and use Iso's ultimate to escape Killjoy's lockdown. So we get Killjoy to put this lockdown down right here, and I think the way you want to do this is by going at around 9 seconds left. So you can see I ult right here. Doesn't matter who I get, just as long as I escape the area of the lockdown. You can still see the timer at the bottom, and then by the time I come back out of my ultimate, the lockdown has gone off. So you can technically just escape it completely, but you do obviously have to be careful of where you are ulting from, because if you're out in the open on site or something, obviously the enemy is just going to kill you as soon as you come back in. But yeah, you can escape Killjoy's lockdown using Iso's ultimate. Iso is going to be able to completely counter Viper's ultimate, and I wanted to showcase exactly why that is. So let's say I'm on C, here's Viper, I'm ulting the site, bombs planted, things are looking pretty good for us. Mostly, you know, you get a Viper ult down, seems like you're going to win the round. But then all of a sudden I get ISO ulted, and you'll see if I try and win this duel as fast as I possibly can, even if I do that and peek straight away, by the time that I get back, that is the best possible case scenario. Like, it is going to force you to take that duel straight away, because you can see here, if I don't instantly go for that fight, if I wait for this shield to drop, by the time that I actually kill ISO and get back here, my ultimate is no longer here. So ISO can just pluck Viper straight out of her ultimate. She has a tiny chance to kill him fast enough if she's really aggressive. Otherwise, yeah, ISO just counters Viper's ultimate. Okay, so we've all seen ISO's contingency wall, and we know that it blocks bullets. No bullets, no gun can shoot through that, it's indestructible. But how do different projectiles interact with it? For example, let's say I have Razor's grenade right here. I go to throw it through this wall, and her grenade goes through perfectly fine. And next, let's see her Boombot, throwing it at the wall, and her Boombot goes through like normal, and then of course latches onto the target. Next, let's see her satchel. Will the satchel stick onto the wall? No, okay, the satchel just goes straight through. And then finally, Razor's ultimate, let's see here, will also go through ISO's wall. So by the looks of it there, all projectiles will just go straight through ISO's contingency. So clearly most utility will go through ISO's walls, but what about Deadlock's ultimate? I've got a wall coming at me right here. Okay, I can fire my ultimate straight through the wall, and it will latch onto a target like usual. So yeah, contingency will not block Deadlock's ultimate. What happens if a Deadlock and an ISO ultimate each other at the exact same time? That's what I'll try and do here. So I've got my Deadlock ult out, we've got our ISO ult out over there as well. If I do these at the exact same time, seems like Deadlock ult is going to win out. ISO is now in my cocoon, and even though he shot out his ultimate, I did not get hit by it at all, and yeah, ISO loses in that interaction. So by now I'm sure most of you know, if no one wins ISO's ultimate after 15 seconds, both players inside it will be eliminated. But if those two players are the last alive, what determines who wins the round? So we'll see right here. I'll ultimate this ISO, and we will wait the 15 seconds and see, well, who gets the actual point for winning this round. Okay, so the ultimate is about to end right here. We both die, but I lose the round, and the reason that is because I'm an attacker and I didn't plant the spike. So if somehow ISO's ultimate kills the last two players alive in the round, it'll then just default to basically the state of like the attackers and defenders who's planted the spike, and that'll decide who wins. Okay, this one isn't as much of a myth, but I wanted to show exactly what ISO's ultimate looks like from the outside, as well as a point of how quickly he can come out of his ultimate. Okay, so first of all, I will just send my clone into the ultimate, and then you can see right here, these are the two portals. So you can think of them like what spawns out of a Phoenix ult. This is the ally one, where your teammate has been sucked into the kill contract, and here is where ISO spawns. You can see right here, look how quickly he can start walking, like straight away, he is back in the action, gun out. As soon as he appears, he's moving again. I actually got a few comments about this one, and that was people asking what happens if you go into his ultimate with no weapon. Are you going to get a classic for free? Now, I don't know why you would want to have no weapon in a round of Valorant, but let's say somehow you find yourself with no gun and you end up in ISO's ultimate. What is going to happen? Do I get a free classic? No, I do not. So you can see I am now in here in my ultimate with absolutely no gun. So hopefully you don't find yourself in this scenario, because you're probably going to die in the ultimate. One thing I didn't quite realize in yesterday's video and all this stuff is just how good Phoenix's ultimate is against kill contract. So you can see right here, if I use my ultimate as Phoenix and then get ulted by this ISO, we'll take a look at just how quickly I spawn in before him. So you can see my run it back is about to expire. So I go back to the real world, and look how long it takes for then, like, I have so much time to prepare for this ISO to come back in and be ready to fight him because of my ultimate. And I know obviously you won't normally be just out in the open like this. You'll probably both be behind walls and separate from each other. But again, it's worth noting, Phoenix can escape kill contract faster using his ultimate. So yesterday we saw what happens if you tried to use ISO's double tap to save yourself from the spike exploding. What happens if you try and use his ultimate instead? So you can see here, the spike is about to explode. So what happens if, for whatever reason, I want to use my ultimate to escape? So you can see it's about to explode. I go into my ultimate. What happens to both of us? So me and the enemy will then survive the explosion of this, and then the round should end before my ultimate can. So yeah, I would say that's a waste of an ultimate, but you can see right there, you can technically use it to survive the spike explosion, and yeah, that's how that interaction works. So those were even more interactions and things I discovered about ISO in my time so far having early access with them. Hopefully from this video, you learned something new about the next duelist agent, and I'd love to hear what you guys want me to do when it comes to making more videos about ISO.